Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 4 of SuperSports, the review series for the vehicles of GT6 which are beyond your average sports car but not quite on the level of supercars. And in this episode we're featuring one of the most unique cars in this category, both mechanically and visually. It is of course the Spyker C8 Laviolette. Now this car really marked the return of Spyker to the exotic vehicle category, and many people don't actually realise that Spyker used to make cars a long time ago. Many people assume that they were a brand new company, but no, they weren't. They used to make cars in, I believe it was the 1920s or around that kind of time, and also aeroplanes. And you can see especially the aeroplane influence in the design of the car, in the badge, in the interior, etc. But what does this car have to offer against its SuperSports rivals? Well, it's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive car. It's powered by a relatively low-capacity Audi V8 of 4.2 litres, no turbo, no supercharger, but despite that apparent disadvantage, it produces fully tuned 642 horsepower, which is very respectable for its engine size, and 447 pound-feet of torque. But the real thing that sets the Spyker apart from its rivals is actually very similar to what sets a TVR apart, and that is the weight. The Spyker is extremely lightweight, far lighter than most super sports cars, and actually even lighter than the TVR Tuscan, which itself is no heavyweight. This Spyker with the full weight loss package weighs just 899 kilos, and thanks to that ultra low weight combined with its high power, it has one of the best power to weight ratios of any super sports car, 714 horsepower per tonne to be exact. And thanks to this, and also its relatively compact size, it makes a fantastic track car, especially on tight, twisty tracks such as here at Eiger Nordvad. Now, on this track, it can run lap times that are around the same level, if not quicker, than a fully tuned WRC car. So this car's not just about sitting there and looking good, it can actually back up those looks with usable competitive performance. Now, speaking of performance, despite not having anywhere near the most power of the supersports category, its performance is very good. It has a top speed of around 250 miles per hour, even without NOS or draft, and the acceleration, mainly thanks to its ultra low weight, is among the quickest of the supersports class. Now, handling wise, the similarity to a TVR actually continues, because like a TVR, the Spyker can put some potential drivers off, because the first time you drive the car, especially fully tuned, it can appear to be quite challenging. The nose feels relatively light, and the car is prone to being a bit skittish and a bit tail happy. But whereas with some cars it just wastes time, with this car you can actually use those handling traits to your advantage, because the Spyker, again very much like a TVR, has excellent turn-in properties on its steering. You can outmaneuver the vast majority of other super sports cars, and in some cases even racing cars, because the front end steering of this car is just so sharp and so reactive instantly to what you do as the driver. There is no lag, as it were, with the steering whatsoever. Everything is instant. Now, as a result of that, it does make the car more challenging for an inexperienced driver, and I would definitely recommend getting a bit of practice with this car before you put it into a live race, as it were, because if you do race it immediately after buying it, you might get a bit exasperated with the car. But if you practice with it first, you will definitely not be disappointed, because in its category, which incidentally is 575 pp when fully tuned, it is extremely competitive. Surprisingly in a straight line as well as around corners. Now, it's not the quickest in a straight line in the supersports class, but it does punch well above its weight and well above its power in terms of both straight line performance and cornering. Now, it is an expensive car. It's not the most expensive Super Sport class vehicle, but it is expensive at 254,000 credits. But many other Super Sports cars are that kind of price, and I would say that this Spyker is definitely worth that price. Not only because of how good it is, both in competition and just for fun, but because it looks great, it's truly unique, it has hugely enjoyable and fully usable performance, and you also get exclusivity, which, if you're anything like me, I love to drive a car that nobody else uses. And although some people do use the Spyker, and people who do use it tend to very, very highly respect the car, you don't see anywhere near as many people as you'd expect driving this car, which I find odd because it's one of the most eye-catching cars in the game, and I would have expected, especially considering its price, that far more people would use it. But that's their loss. So overall, the Spyker is a truly unique and highly competitive super sports car, and the only real thing to bear in mind is that the handling, like a TVR, does demand respect. But if you master the car, it will serve you extremely well. So that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.